Hey, welcome to Western Oregon Living. I'm your host, Sabrina Reese, and today we're in Eugene, Oregon, outside Payroll Resources. Let's see exactly what they're all about. Welcome everyone. Today I'm here with Makana, the owner of Payroll Resources. He's going to tell us a little bit about the history and how he got started in this industry.
Thank you, Sabrina. Back in 1993, I went to work for a company that did HR and payroll services, and I started in workplace safety, which is kind of my area of expertise. And from there, I've been involved in this business ever since 1993, and in 2000 we actually opened up our doors to our first client, and ever since then it's been a pretty good business for us. It's family owned and operated, so my wife and I own the company, and we have at this point we've got 3 offices.
That's wonderful. Can you tell me a little bit about who do you take on? A one person, or I don't know, what's the limit? Or
yeah, a great question. I think every business has kind of their niche market. For us, we're good for anywhere between 1 to 50 employees, and we're typically blue collar oriented, mom and pop type businesses. And so, you know, one of the things that I think is unique for us, we're small, and so we help small businesses as well. We understand the small business.
How about the rules every year? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so what happens is, you know, every year you've got the different entities, government entities, you know, the IRS, Department of Revenue, the EEOC, the Bureau of Labor, Occupational Safety and Health Administration. All of these entities, if you have even one employee, get ready to try to comply with new laws. Name the acronym of your choice depending on which laws are passed. So even if you have one employee, your workload is probably triple of that of a company that has 50 or 60 employees, because they have an internal HR department. So we actually become that internal HR department for small employers. The client will actually call us and say, hey, I've got an employee, I've got a situation where I need to terminate this employee. How do I go about doing that? So what we'll do is we'll start asking them questions, and it's kind of like a checklist. Have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? And all of it is we're trying to reduce their exposure to the risks of terminating an employee. I'm just giving you one example.
Yeah.
So we can walk them through the steps over the phone and give them good advice as to how to handle certain particular situations. What's
the system of getting everything in place when I start?
Yeah, typically what we do is the onboarding process. Before we even start the onboarding process, we go through an analysis with the client to make sure that, first of all, they have to like us and we have to like them. So it has to be a good match. And so what we're going to ask them a few questions about what their needs are, you know, what their budget is, how they go about their operations, because some of those might not be a good match for us. So once we determine that they're going to be a good match for us, then we will have them provide basic company information, and from there we have to complete forms like authorization forms that allow us to act on their behalf for the IRS, for the Department of Revenue, and it's a pretty simple process. And it's interesting that you know, on the temp staffing side, that's one of the areas that separates us from the other payroll services. So a couple of the items like payroll and workers' comp management. So the other companies aren't going to be able to collect your premiums and make the payments on your behalf if you have a company-owned policy for workers' comp. We can do that. If you have a workers' compensation claim, no other company is going to be able to fill out the forms for you, talk to the doctors and the attorneys, and those are just a couple of items. Those are just a couple of examples. I can go on and on about the big differences between us and the other services, and they're tangible. They're tangible differences.
Thank you. This has been wonderful. Thank you so much for having us here and learning all about Payroll Resources.
Very good. Thank you.
And thank you all so much for watching Western Oregon Living. Stay tuned to see what's coming up next.